They've lost 3, but Rams are certainly capable of beating either one of these teams in front of them. So the talent's there. But going to be fun to keep track of that.
Yeah. So what other game sounds good?
Let's talk about the Texans traveling to Naptown to play the Colts.
Well, we had the mighty Houston going a little traveling to Indianapolis Colts, a little rivalry game, and kind of proved to as a good game, 23-30 in favor of Indianapolis. But what stood out during this game for you?
Jacoby Brissett had a game of his life, 26-39 for 326 yards and 4 touchdowns. Man, he was everything you hoped he would be. You know, his career high 4 touchdowns, and gave them sole possession of the take the lead in the AFC South. They're the guys right now because they have one less loss than the Texans do. Deshaun Watson was picked twice. He still threw for 300 yards.
Mm-hmm. Sacked 3 times.
And back to his old self again, getting sacked to death. That's what they do down there for him. They never protect him.
I mean, look at Brissett did have a great game. I mean,
4 touchdowns. That's a big deal for him, man.
Yeah. I think all this is new to him, kind of. If you think about it, he wasn't.
He's been sitting there, learning from the kid. So, but
Deshaun Watson ended up so far for the year 1952 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And I'm seeing
he's protecting the ball okay with 5 picks. I mean, that's because he takes a lot of chances.
But just that sacking for him just gets.
I wonder how many sacks he's had over the year.
That's what I'm trying to find.
I know they had 10 penalties this game. Texans did. I mean, they're just not disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really not.
And they rely on J.J. Watt to. Deshaun Watson, man, sacked 21 times so far this season. And this is only 7 games. So that's a lot of getting knocked down.
Yeah, their rookie, a right tackle who was starting, I think he's out for the year. So it's not going to get any better.
No, already 21 times in week 7. So if you say you double that, 42 times you're projected to be sacked. That's not good.
And he's not very. He doesn't protect the ball that well. He always looks to go deep first, so he holds the ball a long time. I was surprised at how Indianapolis just barely averaged 2.4 yards per carry. They only rushed for 62 yards. So they both teams had the ball around the same amount of time, but it was the key to it was the third down efficiency. The Colts converted on 50% of theirs, and the Texans were only 4-12, so they were 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And just that right there, he put you behind the chains, and just made it too hard. I mean, the yards per pass attempt was the same. They had Texans had 2 picks, but the Colts had 1 fumble, so they lost. Penalties, Houston, like I said, undisciplined 10 penalties. But this one, it's far from over as far as this division lead.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 teams will see each other again and be even more on the line when they do next time.
Yep. So what other game should we digest in tonight?
Let's take a look at the Vikings and the Lions. That was one we really had circled last week. We were really looking forward to that one.
The Minnesota Vikings going to Detroit. Detroit, did they not get kind of hosed in the referee game in last Monday night? And I saw a lot of fans were dressed as referees. That was kind of funny to see in the stands. But, what can you say about Kirk Cousins, man? He was
playing within himself, isn't he?
3 games in a row they won. He threw for 4 touchdowns, 330-some yards. And Stafford did pretty well too. He's not his interception rate has definitely gone lower than
Right.
past seasons. He threw for four touchdowns, one interception, 364 passing. I mean, what stood out for you during the game?
That the Lions only had one rushing first down. I mean, and they only rushed for 81 yards, 20 carries. Penalties, still too many. 8 for 67 for them and 6 for 61 for the Vikings. Vikings just machine like 32 first downs to 26 for the Lions. So third down efficiency, they both were pretty much the same. Total plays close, total yards. Vikings had 70 more yards than them. Yards per play were pretty close, 7.1 for the Vikings and 6.5 for the Lions. The passing yards were only 20 apart. Just the sacks. Lions sacked twice for 12-yard losses, and this one was just what we thought. We talked about this last week going in this, that Vikings are playing really good football. Kirk Cousins is playing within himself. Not letting the stage get too big for him. I think Coach Zimmer and them's approach to handling this kid has gotten a lot better this year because the results are way different, way better, and this was a good team they beat right here, man. Detroit's a pretty good team.
I'm looking over from this last year's stats for Stafford versus this year. Last year he had 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. This year, 13 touchdowns, only 3 INTs.
Mm-hmm.
But his total yards last year was 3,700 yards. Already he has 1,751.
Yeah.
So he's 13th in passing TDs this year and 20th in interceptions. So he's having a good year, and no one's really talking about it.
Right.
Because but he's been sacked already 12 times already in 6 games. So
Who's that?
Stafford, yeah.
Well, there's work to do on that offensive line. Some of that's him because they do pass a lot. They pass more than they run, and that's the trend in the NFL these days. But this one ended about like what I thought it'd be close early. Than the Vikings, golly, the running back, that kid is just so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to get his yards, and he did. How many rushing yards did he have Sunday, Michael?
142. Let's see. Let's see.
Doesn't even that kid's the real deal.
For the year, he's ranked 32nd. And let's see, how did he do last night?
Now, he's 32nd in anything. He's the number 1 rusher in the league, isn't he?
Yeah, 725 yards was number 1, averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
That's
7
impressive. 5.4 yards per carry for the season. That's pretty amazing.
8 touchdowns, leading the league. Just compared to, his comparison from last year, he played 11 games for 615 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's 4 times. He's done heck of a lot better. Definitely turned around. What else in this game stood out to you?
Just, nothing really, because I picked Vikings to win this, and I thought they would handle their business, and, they did. They're staying within themselves. Like you said, Kirk Cousins had 300-plus yards. And he's not beating them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And seems like they got some harmony going on in the team now instead of the backbiting and the receivers calling guys out. So, yep, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of that. This one's going to be tough, especially when they play the Packers again.
Mm-hmm. So, what other games you want to bring up?
Well, I don't want to do this one, but we got to talk about it. So let's might as well get the Jaguars versus the Bengals out of the way.
Man, you got Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Cincinnati.
3-4.
3-4, yeah, and how bad are the Bengals?
Bad.
I mean, they're just,
Second worst team in the league, I think, right now.
and you got Andy Dalton for the year, 1,923 yards, 8 touchdowns, ranked 19th, 8 interceptions, ranked 3rd. So,
Throwing some picks, man.
I don't know what.
Our offensive line's really bad. We've discussed that before. They got a talent like Joe Mixon, and they can't get him anywhere close to going.
And Mexican 10 carries for 2 yards.
Yeah. You know how many yards rushing they had yesterday?
I mean-
33. Their offensive line is just bad. I believe they got the Dallas Cowboys' old offensive line coach. Is the reason why they let him walk, and it's a talent issue.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you just can't be that inept with unless you don't have talent. But yeah, they're just terrible. You see that 1.7 yards per carry rushing. That's, and we're talking about the Jaguars. We're not talking about the Patriots or anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about them. This is a different.
But your boy, man, Minshew the second, man, 15 for 32, 255, 1 touchdown.
15 to 32.
Yeah.
Less than 50%.
Yeah, and you still won.
Yeah. Hey, they're.
And look at the running game. The Jaguars ran the ball 44 times for a total of 216 yards.
Leonard Fournette, man,
Mm-hmm.
he's starting to come alive. He's starting to be the guy that they thought he was when they drafted him. So but Bengals, that's a dumpster fire there.
And it's like they haven't had their A.J. Green, but I don't think he's not even going to try and come back this year.
You see how many turnovers the Bengals had? They had 4 turnovers in the game. 1 fumble, 3 picks.
You can't win a game. You
can't beat
So here's a comparison. Who do you think is worse?
them.
The
Dolphins are the worst. The Dolphins are the worst. The Bengals, I don't know why they're not just having a fire sale right now. I don't know what else. You're not going to win. I don't know why you're putting Andy Dalton back out there. If you think that rookie that you had that looked good in preseason's got anything, at some point you got to give him.
But we talked about that earlier about how this could be Dalton's last year in Cincinnati.
Sure.
And look at the cap space that they would probably save if they got rid of him.
Yeah, they're again, who are you going to play? They're going to be looking at quarterbacks in this draft, that's for sure. And
granted, you are right. The Bengals are the cheapest team to pay their players.
Well, they've instituted a certain floor that you have to meet, or you're going to get fined draft picks and money. So, because of teams like the Bengals, but be that as it may, and to that end, and insofar as Jaguars getting the ball out, running, like they should have been doing earlier in the year. They averaged 4.9 per rush. That's outstanding, but just the penalties. Oh my gosh, 11 penalties for 130 yards for the Jaguars. That's totally unacceptable. With Tom Coughlin down there being the general manager, he is just livid with that kind of undisciplined football.
Mm-hmm.
He might be tempted to even take over the team himself because running game defense, that's his thing. But being that undisciplined is not a forte of any of his kind of teams. And the Jaguars started off good, but they're just finally won their 3rd game, so they're still having a losing season. But next game, let's talk about the matchup of the 2 highest drafted rookie quarterbacks this year. Let's talk about Kyler Murray versus Mr. Jones for the Giants. So Cardinals and Giants.
Well, we got battle of rookies in this game. Arizona Cardinals traveling to New York.